Who says
based
that?
on this memorandum of understanding.
Well,
it's not even mentioned.
Say that. It says very clearly that Iran says it will not procure or build or do anything on the nukes ever again. Look, I don't believe
that's what they said in the JCPOA.
Okay, that's
what
fine.
they said a dozen times in different international agreements.
That's fine.
There's not even a single condition on what happens if they do in this. We'll see what happens in the ultimate deal.
Well,
but the president is saying it's better than the JCPOA bill. He says this document is better than that one.
I'm not going to get into that because that's a Democrat.
Of course not.
No, it's a Democrat-Republican thing. You say
no, it's not.
It's
a bullshit thing, Bill.
No,
it's a bullshit thing.
Chris Cuomo sat down with Bill O'Reilly on NewsNation to debate Trump's Iran strategy. And what followed is one of the clearest breakdowns of why this deal cannot honestly be called better than the JCPOA. O'Reilly kept trying to defend Plan B, while Cuomo kept coming back to the same simple, documented facts. And the moment that defines this entire exchange is when Cuomo points out that it was Trump leaving the nuclear deal in 2018. That directly caused Iran to accelerate its enrichment to levels far beyond what existed before. Let's watch this play out, and I'll give you my full thoughts on the other side.
He understands this and why the president says it is such a major win for America. How do you see it?
Well, this is Plan B. So Plan A didn't work. Plan A was kill the leadership and the people will rise up and we'll get rid of them once and for all. Didn't work. Was it worth a gamble? You know, they got a lot of credence out of it. You keep mentioning missiles. How many missiles do you think are in Iran? Do you know?
No clue, just like the U.S. government.
Well, why are you saying that the missiles then would be some kind of nefarious part of this agreement? I don't...
Ask Israel. Ask Israel.
This is
Ask
not
Qatar.
a good... This is
Ask
not a
Bahrain.
good... This is not a good deal for Israel. But I don't know of any U.S. intel person who believes that their missiles haven't been downgraded severely. I don't know of any. If you can find one, put them on. Number two.
Here's what we know, okay? Not just the Wall Street Journal, which you say is the only fair newspaper in existence, but the Journal and other outlets have said we misunderstood how much they had been degraded, that their silos are able to be rebuilt very quickly. But that's not my point, Bill. I don't have to know the right answer. I'm not the president of the United States. But the president of the United States just said, I'm okay with them having missiles. How can I say Saudi Arabia can have them and they can't? Because one of them is an ally state and one of them is a terror organization.
Okay.
Bill, if a Democrat said that, your guys' heads would explode.
I don't have guys. I didn't hear him say that Iran having missiles was okay.
We just said it.
All right.
You just said it.
Didn't hear it.
Okay. Well, he said it. I promise.
Okay. I need to know the context and what, because he just doesn't say sentences. He says long paragraphs. But let's get back to the whole situation. So this is Plan B. And then Plan B changed, and this always happens in war, because of the damage to the worldwide economy. And Trump made the calculation, look, I can't absorb this. That's why Herbert Hoover rose from the dead and risk a worldwide depression. Plus, I think that in the United States, oil prices will come down. They're down in the mid-70s now. It's a big drop from 104 last week. And Trump hopes that the economy is going to smooth out fast and Republicans will win the midterms. So that was a big calculation. So Plan B is underway. Now, you keep saying that there's no diminishment in Iran's pursuit of a nuclear weapon. Based on what? Who says that?
Based on this memorandum of understanding.
Well,
it's not even mentioned.
Say that. It says very clearly that Iran says it will not procure or build or do anything on the nukes ever again. Look, I don't believe
that's what they said in the JCPOA.
Okay,
that's what they said a dozen times in different international agreements.
That's fine.
There's not even a single condition on what happens if they do in this. We'll see what happens in the ultimate deal.
Well,
but the president is saying it's better than the JCPOA bill. He says this document is better than that one.
I'm not going to get into that because that's a Democrat.
Of course not.
No, it's a Democrat-Republican thing. You say
no, it's not.
It's
a bullshit thing, Bill.
No,
it's a bullshit thing. The JCPOA had a list of conditions and actions that had to be taken. This has none of that, Bill. It can't be as good as the JCPOA. It's not even close to it in its degree or its scope.
Look, he said quite clearly in his presser today that if Iran misbehaves and you'd have to put uranium enrichment in that category, he's going to blow them up. And
yeah, he said that 100 times. Okay. They're still there.
You don't believe anything he says. You don't believe anything
and that makes me crazy.
The man said. No.
And that makes me crazy.
You don't believe him. You don't want to believe him. You're never gonna believe him.
So it's because I don't like Trump.
Not
so
about
it's I don't like Trump. It's not because of the facts. It's not that you'd say the same thing if it weren't Trump.
There are no facts. You haven't had.
There are no facts.
No, I'll give you one, and you're not going to be able to refute it. Okay.
Okay.
So, after Obama made the deal, the United States and all of the other NATO countries did not supervise the enrichment of uranium. It was not supervised at all. None. Okay, so Iran did what it did. Now, if you can bring in one person.
So the IAEA, Grassi, the guy you say you interviewed, IAEA, 3 months before Trump left the deal, said that they were majorly in compliance with the deal.
I didn't hear that.
Okay, 3 months before he left.
You got to get this
You don't
guy
hear a
on
lot
your
of things.
program.
It's pretty convenient when you don't listen to.
I want to see the guy on your program.
Then, hold on. 3 months before he left. Hold on. 3 months before, you can just Google it. Type it right now while
Google anything. Get him on the show.
Face.
Have him on the
record.
record.
I'm happy to get him on the show. I already know it's a matter of fact. 3 months before, they reported that Iran was in compliance with the deal. Trump leaves, and within 18 months, they're now enriching up to 80% to be pissed off about the sanctions and as payback. Trump exiting the deal created the situation that he said he had to fix. That's a fact.
The guy that I talked to said nothing like that, and he's a weapons inspector too. And I got him on the record. You get one guy that say that, and I'll concede.
Trump's State Department said it in 2018. Trump's State Department said it.
Who said it in the State Department?
The Secretary of State. The Department of State put out a statement that they were largely in compliance.
Pompeo? Who put it out?
Oh, so Pompeo, he wasn't the Secretary of State.
I'm asking, who put it out?
The Department of State. It's an official thing. They gave a statement to Congress. Ben, give me who's on the letterhead that went to Congress from the Department of State. I don't understand the point of your question, Bill.
Point of my
question is, are you saying it wasn't the real Department of State? Or you just don't like it?
No.
Or you want to say you didn't hear about it?
I want the name of the person who came out and said.
Ben, who was on it? Just tell me and I'll send it. Not that this changes anything, but go ahead.
Of course it doesn't. Because you want to believe one thing, and the MAGA people want to believe another thing.
Let's do it this way. No. Because the facts don't have sides, okay? If you want to say the Department of State didn't say that in 2018, fine.
I'm not
I'm
saying who said it, and you don't know.
The Department of State. I don't have to have the name of the person who sent the letter to Congress. It comes from the U.S. government. I mean, come on, give me a break.
Who signed the letter? You
you are playing a silly
Not
form
playing
of
anything.
gotcha.
I'm looking
so
for
you know, so when the Fed puts out the new interest rate,
statement.
You can tell me which board governor wrote the letter that says here's the new interest rate. You can tell me that, and if you don't, then it's not a fact. Come on, this is a specious suggestion.
I don't believe it's a fact, but I could be wrong. But I'd
like
to know who in the State Department signed the letter, because I'm not aware of it.
Okay. And you're also not aware that the president just said that the regime should be allowed to have missiles because you didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it.
And you're not sure about the fact that when he left is when they started enriching uranium to 60% because you didn't know it. So I guess these can't be true, Bill.
The timeline about enriching uranium, no one knows. No one's on the record.
That's not true.
No one does.
That's not true.
Who?
Here's the weird thing.
Wait,
the one thing that the IAEA Okay, I'll give you who. That the IAEA, the IDF, and the regime in Iran all agree on one thing, okay? Which is, it wasn't until after Trump left and they imposed sanctions that Iran started to exceed their enrichment capacity in gross fashion.
Who in
All
the
three agree with that.
IAEA said that?
Grassi, Grassi.
On your
He's the head.
program?
No. Oh, so now if he doesn't say it on my show,
No, I just
it's
want to
not
know
good
where,
enough for you.
so I can find it.
Oh,
Because
here,
the
you see
guys
it? You
that
have one
I
of
had
these?
on
Do you have
didn't
one of
say
these?
we don't know
Go
we can't
into
get
this.
in.
Go to Google and type in
Google
this.
again.
Oh, Google's no good?
Listen,
Google's
all
no good.
I'm
Who do you want to
saying
believe?
is this.
Chris Cuomo sat down with Bill O'Reilly on NewsNation to debate Trump's Iran strategy. And what followed is one of the clearest breakdowns of why this deal cannot honestly be called better than the JCPOA. O'Reilly kept trying to defend Plan B while Cuomo kept coming back to the same simple documented facts. And the moment that defines this entire exchange is when Cuomo points out that it was Trump leaving the nuclear deal in 2018. That directly caused Iran to accelerate its enrichment to levels far beyond what existed before. Let's watch this play out, and I'll give you my full thoughts on the other side. Your outro commentary. Let's start with the most important factual point in this entire exchange, because O'Reilly spent a significant portion of it pretending he had never heard it. 3 months before Trump pulled out of the JCPOA in 2018, the International Atomic Energy Agency reported that Iran was majorly in compliance with the deal. The IAEA, the IDF, and even the Iranian regime itself all agree on the timeline. It was after Trump left the deal and reimposed sanctions that Iran began exceeding its enrichment capacity in gross fashion, eventually reaching up to 60 and then 80% purity. That is not a democratic talking point. That is the documented sequence of events confirmed by internationals, monitors, by intelligence agencies, and by Trump's own State Department in a statement to Congress in 2018. O'Reilly's response to all of this was to keep asking who specifically signed the letter, as though the institutional credibility of the United States Department of State depends on knowing the individual author's name. Cuomo was right to call that out as a specious gotcha. When the Federal Reserve announces an interest rate decision, you do not need the name of the individual board governor to accept it as an official government statement. The same standard applies here. The U.S. government confirmed Iran was in compliance. Trump left anyway. Iran then accelerated enrichment to levels never seen during the JCPOA years. The facts have an order, and that order matters. Now let's get to the core argument about this, current memorandum of understanding versus the JCPOA, because this is where Cuomo was clearest and most effective. Trump has said repeatedly that this new deal is better than the JCPOA. Cuomo's response was simple and devastating. The JCPOA had a specific list of conditions and actions that had to be taken, with timelines, verification mechanisms, and consequences. The IAEA had some of the toughest inspection access ever negotiated into an arms control agreement. The current MOU has none of that. It has Iran reaffirming that it will not pursue nuclear weapons, which is language that appeared in the JCPOA and in multiple previous international agreements going back decades. A verbal commitment with no enforcement mechanism, no inspection protocol, and no stated consequence for violation is not a deal. It is a press release. And the missile question that O'Reilly kept trying to dodge is not a minor detail. The administration explicitly stated at the outset of this war that destroying Iran's ballistic missile capability was one of the primary objectives. Trump officials stood at podiums and said, "We are going to significantly destroy their missile launchers." And now Trump himself has said maybe Iran can have missiles because other countries in the neighborhood have them. O'Reilly said he did not hear Trump say that. Cuomo pointed out this is a pattern. O'Reilly also did not hear the IAEA compliance confirmation, also did not know about the enrichment timeline, also did not know about the State Department statement. At some point, the things you have not heard form a picture O'Reilly's ultimate argument was that Trump should be trusted because he said he would bomb Iran again if they misbehave. And Cuomo's response was the correct one. Trump said that 100 times. They are still there. The regime is still there. The enriched uranium is still there. Promising to bomb someone again if they cheat on a deal with no verification mechanism is not arms control. It is deterrence based entirely on personal credibility, which is a particularly fragile foundation, given how many specific promises about this conflict have already not materialized. The broader point that Cuomo kept returning to is the one that matters most for how history will judge this. Maximum pressure did not create maximum results. It hurt Iran economically, but it also pushed them closer to the nuclear threshold than they had ever been under the JCPOA sanctions, plus military strikes did not achieve the objectives that were promised. And we are now at a memorandum of understanding that does not include the inspection mechanisms, the enrichment caps, the stockpile limits, or the enforcement consequences that the deal Trump spent years calling the worst ever actually contained. So if you are being honest about the comparison, there is no version of events where this outcome is better than what existed before 2018. That is not about liking or not liking Donald Trump. The facts do not have sides. The timeline is documented. The inspectors reported compliance before the U.S. exit. Enrichment accelerated after the U.S. exit. The current agreement has fewer verification mechanisms than the one it replaced. Those are the facts, and they should be evaluated on their own terms, regardless of who is in the Oval Office. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification. I'll see you in the next one.